We'll get started with an align and flow style class today. Might be helpful to have a block. If you don't have a block at home, you can always use a book or a small box or anything that you can use to add a little bit of length to your arms, or a blanket. It doesn't have to be any sort of special blanket. This is just mine from the couch that I use every day, just folded it up. It's just kind of nice to have something. We'll get started in a cross-legged seat. Sometimes it's nice to have something to just elevate your hips up a little bit. So if you want to hit pause and go round up those things, you can, and then we'll get started as soon as you're back. So seated, cross-legged on a blanket or your block or something just to get you lifted up a little bit. Either leg can be in front, arms can be down by your side. And we'll just close your eyes and get started with a little bit of breath work. So think about taking a nice deep breath, starting at the base of your spine, inhaling all the way up to the crown of your head, pausing there, and then exhaling all the way back down. Inhaling all the way up, and exhaling all the way back down. Inhaling up, and exhaling down. And once more, inhaling up, and exhaling down. If you close your eyes, you can go ahead and flutter them open. We'll get started with a little bit of neck stretch. So we'll lean our right ear towards our right shoulder. Bring your gaze out to the front. Inhale. And exhale. And coming back. You'll put your right hand down on the side of your mat, sweep your left arm up. And then exhale, lean to the right. Stay here with your inhale. Exhale, lean a little more. Inhaling back up to center. And then the left hand comes back down. Adding a twist, left hand comes to right knee. Right hand behind you, lengthen through your spine first. And then twist to the back. Unwinding back to center. And then just walking your hands out forward for a forward fold. Release your head and neck. And then walking your hands back in. If you'd like to, you can switch legs. Maybe get the other leg hip open a little bit more, but if it's uncomfortable, you can stay where you're at. And then we'll start with the lean. So dropping your left ear towards your left shoulder. Still breathing nice and slowly. And bring your head back up. We'll add the lean, left hand out to the side, right hand sweeps up. Inhale. And exhale, lean to the left. Last breath. Coming back up to center. And then we'll add a twist. Right hand to your knee, left hand behind you, lengthen through your spine, and twist to the back. Last breath here. And then unwinding through center. And then walking your hands up for a forward fold. Releasing the head and neck down. Taking a breath. And exhale. And then walking the hands back in. Straightening through your spine again. And then we'll make our way onto our hands and knees. You can set the blanket off to the side, or some people like to pad their hands with the blanket. It's a little softer on their wrists. All right, you'd like your hands to be directly under your shoulder blades, shoulders width apart, and your knees under your hips. Then we'll engage in your core, make sure your spine is nice and long. We'll add some cat-cow. So inhale, dropping the chest, tailbone scoops up, look up with your gaze. And then exhale, rounding through your spine, tuck your chin in. Maybe look towards your belly button. Inhaling, opening. And exhaling, rounding. Inhaling, opening. And exhaling, rounding. Last one, inhale. And exhale. Come back to a nice straight spine. Tuck your toes and then lift your knees and then send your hips up and back, finding a down dog. You can stay here or you can find some wiggles here. Whatever feels good for you. Take 2 more breaths here in your down dog. And then inhale, look forward. And exhale, step forward, find your ragdoll. So separate your feet hips width apart. Release your head and neck and back down. Maybe have a little bit of bend in your knee. And you can grab opposite elbows. Release your head and neck and maybe shake your head yes or no. Take a couple more breaths here. Maybe shifting your hips from side to side. And then releasing your hands down to the mat. Inhale, lift up halfway, straighten your back. Hands can stay on the mat or they can come to your shins. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stand up, arms come all the way up. And exhale, hands come into heart center. You can step your feet together. Starting in mountain pose, you'll have your feet together, your toes together, your heels slightly apart. But you don't want to be any sort of pigeon toe. You want the outside of your feet parallel to the outside of your mat. Then you're going to be stacking everything over your feet. So hips are stacked over, shoulders stacked over hips. And you've got this nice long line all the way up to your head. But then shoulders are nice and relaxed and down. So you can give them a couple of rolls or shakes if you'd like. Standing here, arms can be by your side, palms facing forward. Taking a breath. And exhale. We'll do 2 sun A's. Inhale, arms come up, look up. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flatten your back. And then exhale, plant your hands, step back to a plank. You can stay here or you can come down to your knees. With your exhale, you'll find a low plank. And then inhale, up dog, where legs are up off the ground. Or you can find a cobra pose. Legs are on the ground, just shoulders are lifted. Tucking the toes, hips come up and back, down dog. Taking a breath here. Exhale, release. And we'll stay here for a few more breaths. And then think about your pose here. You want to be evenly distributing your weight, forwards and back, between your hands and your feet. Your heels should be hidden behind your toes, so it's a slight internal rotation. And then you want to make your arms nice and active here. So you're really supporting yourself. Your chest isn't dropping down through your arms. But you're nice and active here. Last breath. And exhale. Inhale, look forward. And exhale, step your way up to the front. Inhale, halfway lift, flatten your back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms come up, stand up. And exhale, hands in heart center and down by your side. Taking a breath. In our mountain pose, exhale. We'll do that again. Inhaling, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flatten your back. And exhale, planting your hands, step back to a plank. Staying here for your inhale. And exhale, find a low plank. Drawing your elbows in towards your chest, keeping them tucked in nice. And then inhaling, up dog or cobra. And exhaling, hips come up and back, down dog. Staying here and breathing. gripping the mat with your fingertips. And then you've got a little bit of lift with the palms. Helps to protect the wrists. Last breath here. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step up to the front. Inhale, halfway lift, flatten your back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stand up, arms come all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart center. And then you can bring them down by your side. Taking a breath. And exhale. Moving on, we'll find a sun beam. Inhale, find a chair. You're going to drop your tailbone down like you're sitting in a chair and the arms come up. We'll be here, so take a look down. You should be able to see your toes, so send your knees back a little bit. And then you want your tailbone pointing down. So we're not doing this sticking our bum out, but you're tucking it down, protecting our lower back. Arms can come up overhead, but only as far as they go that you don't lose the integration in your shoulders. So you don't need them up here touching the sky. That makes your shoulders come up. You can have them out in front of you. We'll take one more breath here. And then exhale, releasing down. Inhale, halfway lift, flatten your back. And then exhale, plant your hands, step back to a plank. Staying here for your inhale. Exhale, low plank. Inhaling, up dog or cobra. And exhaling, hips up and back, down dog. Your next inhale, loosen your right leg up, three-legged dog. Keep the hips square, the leg long. And then exhale, we're going to step the right foot forward. And we're going to go ahead and come down onto our left knee to start with. So I want you to turn your left knee so that you can keep your hips nice and square. So this isn't really a lunge as much as just kind of a 90-degree sit here. You want your right hip drawing back and your left hip forward. Keeping that integrity in your hips, then you can slowly begin to lift up. Externally rotate this left leg a little bit to drop the left heel down on the mat. You can adjust your stance as much as you need to. Hips should both still be neutral towards the front of the mat. Your feet can be separated like they're on railroad tracks. They don't have to be on the tightrope. And then we'll send our arms up. Take a nice inhale. And exhale. One more inhale. And then exhale. Bending forward, hands come down the mat, step the right foot back, and take your flow. Inhaling up, dog or cobra, and exhaling down dog. We'll do that on the other side now. Left leg comes up, leg is long, hips are square and straight, and then exhale, your left foot steps forward, place it on the mat between your hands, and come down onto your right knee. Getting set up, you can lift your chest. Think about squaring off the hips here. And then once you've got your hips square, keep them square as you slowly lift your right knee up off the ground. Externally rotate it and drop it back down on the mat. So the right heel is on the mat. Feet can be separated again like they're on railroad tracks. Left hip is drawing back and right hip slightly forward so that the hip points are square. If you're steady there, then you can send your arms up overhead, keeping the integrity in your shoulders. Take an inhale and exhale. One more inhale and exhale. Taking your flow, hands down, step back. Exhaling, low plank. Inhaling, shifting forward, up dog or cobra. And exhale, hips up and back. Taking a breath. And exhale, release. One more like that. Inhale. And exhale, release. Inhaling, look forward. Exhaling, stepping up to the front. Inhale, halfway lift, flatten your back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stand up, arms come all the way up. And exhale, hands in the heart center and down by your side. Taking a breath. Exhale, release. We'll add a little flow to that. Inhale, find your chair pose. Staying here in your chair, tailbone is pushing down, or pointing down rather. chest is lifting, neck is long. One more inhale. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flatten your back. Exhale, planting your hands, step back for your plank. Staying here for your inhale. And exhale, low plank. Inhaling, up dog or cobra. Exhaling, hips up and back, down dog. Taking a breath. Exhale, release. Inhale, right leg comes up, three-legged dog. And exhale, step it forward, going directly into warrior one. So left foot and heel is down on the mat. Inhale, sweep all the way up. Stay for your exhale. One more inhale. And then exhaling back down. Hands come to the mat, step your right foot back, and do your flow. Inhaling, up dog or cobra. Exhaling, down dog. Left foot lifts up. And exhale, step it all the way forward. Keeping that right knee up off the mat, drop the right heel down, and sweep all the way up. Warrior one. And exhale. One more inhale. And exhale, sending your hands down to the mat. Step back and do your flow. Inhaling, up dog or cobra. Exhaling, hips up and back, down dog. Taking a breath. Exhale, release. Another breath here. Exhale, release. Inhaling, look forward. Exhaling, stepping up to the front. Inhale, halfway lift, flatten your back. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweeping the arms up, stand up. And exhale, hands in the heart center, and then maybe down by your side. Taking a breath. Exhale, release. One more breath here. And exhale. All right, we're going to take a big step to face the side of your mat. Doesn't matter which way you face, as long as you're opening up to the side of the mat. We're going to start with a warrior two on our right side. So you're going to pivot your right foot so that your toes are facing the short side of your mat. Your left foot, the toes are going to stay facing the long side of your mat. And then you're going to bend into your front knee. You're going to adjust your spacing as much as you need to, so you have this nice long line and opening in your hip points. Your right knee is going to be tracking over your ankle and maybe kind of towards your second toe. Once you're here, you can leave your hands on your hips, or you can bring them out to the side to where they're parallel to the ground, palms facing down. And stay here, gazing up to the front. Couple of breaths. Making sure to keep your core engaged. So our core includes the front of our body as well as the back of our body. So we're engaging those stomach muscles and then finding a little bit of stability in our lower back. 2 more breaths. And then moving into a side angle. Right hand can come down to our quad and the left hand can come up. Overhead, you can gaze up. You can stay here. Or if you'd like to, you can bring your hand down to the mat or to a block or a book, whatever you're using. 3 more breaths. Think about lifting your left ribs up to the ceiling so we're not collapsing in. And then coming back up into warrior two, get steady. Our legs should stay nice and firm. You can flip your front palm, inhale, and then exhale, reverse warrior two. So left arm can rest on your left leg. With your inhale, lengthen through your spine, and exhale, lean a little more. Again, inhale, and exhale, lean. One more inhale, and exhale. Then coming back to a warrior two. Then we'll straighten our leg. We're moving into triangle pose. So if you'd like to, you can tick-tock your back foot in a little bit to shorten your stance. We'll lean towards the front of the mat with your inhale. And then exhale, bring the right hand down towards the mat or the block. Find a triangle pose. So your hand can be on the inside of your leg or on the outside of the leg. It's yogi's choice. Think about lengthening through your spine and then rotating up a little bit. Breathing here. The toes on our right foot are facing the short end of the mat, and the toes on our left foot are facing the long end of the mat. Chest is lifting up, and spine is long. Last breath. And then keep your legs nice and steady, almost like you're trying to zip them into each other, but they're staying planted on the mat, lifting your core up. And then we'll take a reverse triangle. Left hand down, right hand up. Inhale. Exhale a little more. One more inhale. And exhale. Coming back through center, you can square off the hips. If you want to move your block to the other side, you can. And we're just going to turn and face the back of your mat now. So you're going to spin your left toes so that your left toes are facing the short end of your mat. And your right toes are facing the long end of the mat. And then we're going to bend this left knee, finding a warrior two. Adjust your stance as long as you need to. Left knee is tracking over ankle, and then it's kind of working towards that second toe. Hips are nice and open, and then you can bring your arms out. Shoulders are dropping down, and then arms reaching long. You want your arms parallel to the ground, and your gaze can be over your front left fingers. Breathing here, opening up through the hips, engaging your core. So again, drawing that belly button in towards your spine, and then finding some stability there. Last breath. And then moving into side angle. So again, the left hand can come down to your left quad. Right arm can come around and sweep up. You can stay here if this is good, or you can reach for that block and send your left arm down to the ground, right arms up. Think about finding some length through your spine, and then lifting your right ribs up towards the ceiling to keep your chest open. You can gaze up. If you find that you're losing your balance, sometimes you can gently bring your gaze down, and that may help you. 2 more breaths here. And then coming back up, returning to a warrior two, staying nice and firm in your left leg, flipping your front palm, inhale, and then exhale, reverse. Right hand on your right leg, warrior two legs, stay nice and firm with your inhales, lengthen your spine. Exhale, lean a little more. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, lean. Last breath. Exhale, release. Then coming back to warrior two, and then we'll straighten your left leg. Moving into triangle pose, so you can tick-tock your right leg in a little bit. Hips stay open, and then there's this kind of natural tilt in your pelvis. So your right hip point will be slightly higher than your left. Arms can come out. You'll lean towards your left foot. That's on the back of your mat. And then folding down. Left hand comes down to the mat. Right hand stays up. You can twist your gaze up, bring your gaze up towards the ceiling. And you've got 3 breaths left here. You're lifting your quads, lifting through the knees so your legs stay nice and engaged. And then engage your core and lifting up. And then we'll take a reverse triangle. So left arm comes up, right arm down. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling and exhaling. Coming back through to a neutral spine. Pivot your left foot in so you can square off your feet and your hips. So both of your toes are facing the long end of the mat. So the outside of your feet is parallel to the outside of the mat. We're going to take a wide leg forward fold. So hands start on your hips. Inhale, lengthen through your spine. And exhale, hinge forward for a forward fold. You can bring your hands down. Bring them in line with your toes, fingertips facing the same direction. Then release your head and neck down. And maybe begin to try and shift your weight into the balls of your feet ever so slightly. Breathing here. 2 more breaths. And then bring your hands to your hips, lengthen through your spine as you come all the way back up. And then you'll just step back to the front of your mat. We'll take some chair twists here. I'm just going to pivot so that you can see me. You want your toes together, a slight gap in your heels, or you can do this with your feet hips width apart. But either way, you want the outside of your feet parallel to the outsides of your mat. We'll sink down, find a chair pose, and we'll bring our hands to where they're parallel to the ground. With an inhale, we're going to swing our right arm down and around and twist open. And then exhale, back up to center. Inhale, left arm down and around, twist. Exhale, back to center. Inhaling and exhaling. Once more, inhaling and exhaling. We'll do one more on each side. Inhale, trying to keep the knees and the hips even as you do this. Exhale back. And last one, inhale and exhale back. All right, good job. Stand up, straighten the arms, look up. And then separating your feet hips width apart, you're gonna fold forward for a forward fold. You can lasso your big toe with your peace fingers and pull yourself down. You can have a slight bend in your knee so that your chest is dropping down onto your quads and your elbows come nice and wide. If you can't quite reach your feet, you can always use that book or the block and forward fold, resting your hands on that. Remembering that your block has multiple heights, so you can use any of those. If you're using a book, you may have to stack a couple of books because they're not quite as steady. Releasing down. 2 more breaths. Then lengthening your spine, finding a flat back with your inhale. Exhale and release. Release your hands from under your feet. Bring your hands up to your hips. And then with your inhale, stand all the way up. And exhale, release. All right. Stepping our feet together. We're making our way down to our seats. We're going through a flow to get there. Inhaling, arms come up, look up. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhaling, halfway lift, flattening your back. Exhaling, planting your hands, stepping back to a plank, and doing your flow. Elbows stay in. Inhaling, up dog or cobra. And exhaling, hips up and back, down dog. Taking a breath. Exhale, release. And then we're making our way to a seat. So just right foot comes down, foot in the leg, and the left leg comes behind you, and make your way into your seat. We're going to take a boat pose. So bring your knees together. You want to find this nice tripod seat between your tailbone and your sits bones. So nice little tripod seat here. Then lifting up through your chest. You want to make sure that you're not caving in. Lifting up. You can bring your hands behind you if you need to for support. And then slowly begin to lift your feet up off the mat as you use your core to do so. If you'd like to, you can bring your hands out to the front and then open up here. You can leave your legs bent or you can begin to lengthen them, whatever feels good for you. Using your core, not your hip flexors here, for 3, 2, 1, tucking into a nice ball. And then you can rock and roll, massaging out your back. 1 more. And then we're going to get set up for bridges. So you want to come down onto your back, have a nice long line from your tailbone all the way up to the crown of your head. You can plant your feet on the mat. Your feet are parallel to each other and hips width apart. So when I say that in class, a lot of times people send their feet much wider. I think we all think our hips are wider than they actually are. So when I say hips width apart, that means kind of where the joints of your hip is. So your hip bones, not necessarily where the outside of your fleshy part is, because when you lay on your back, that all squishes out a little bit more. So keep them in line with your bones here. Arms can be down by your side. Spine's nice and long, but you want to try and keep your glutes a little bit soft. They're going to work some in this pose, but you want to try and not have them be the only thing working. So using your core and your legs help lift you as well. So inhale, lengthen through your spine. And with your exhale, lifting your hips up, we'll find a bridge. You can stay here, or you can begin to walk your arms underneath you, maybe clasping your hands, lifting your hips. We'll be here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly release your hands and lower your hips back down. You can bring your feet together and send your knees wide between. We'll take 2 more, but just don't tuck your knees into your chest. It's a little too much work there. So just opening your knees out to the side is good. And then we'll get set up. Number 2, so feet planted nice on the mat, in line with your hip points. The outside of your feet's parallel to the outside of your mat. Inhale, lengthening, and exhale, lifting your hips up, bridge pose. You can walk the arms underneath you if you'd like. Maybe try interlacing the opposite thumb on top. We'll be here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly release. This time maybe you want to windshield wipe through your knees, back and forth. And then getting set back up for our last bridge pose. Feet again in line with your hips. Outside of the feet parallel to the outside of your mat. Arms down by your side. Take a nice inhale. And exhale, lifting the hips. Maybe walking the shoulder blades underneath you, interlacing the hands. You want to make sure that you're not crunching your neck. So how you protect that is just a little bit of lift with your chin. You got 2 breaths left. Inhaling and exhaling. And last one, inhale and exhale, release. Release everything down. And then again, soles of the feet together, knees nice and wide. So butterfly on our back. 1 more breath. And then bringing your knees up. You can slowly walk your way up. And we'll find a nice seat. Couple of stretches here. We'll start with our left leg in and our right leg out. Left hand comes on the outside of our right leg. A little bit of a twist. And then folding in. Breathing here. Last breath. And then lifting back up. And then we'll switch legs. So left leg is long, right leg comes in. Your right foot is on the inside of your left quad. Hips stay nice and square. Right hand comes across your left leg, a little bit of a twist. And then exhale, forward fold. Last breath. Coming back up to a seat. And then both legs can come out, flexing your feet. Inhale, lengthening your spine. And keeping your spine nice and long and straight, just hinging forward for a forward fold. You can walk your hands as far as they can go. Release your head and neck. Think about drawing your chest down towards your quads. Last breath here. And then walking your hands back up, finding some length. And then we'll make our way onto our backs for a supine twist. So knees stacked directly over your hips. Arms can come out to the side or cactus the arms. And then lay the legs down. Either direction that you want to go first is fine. Undulating your spine so that both shoulder blades are drawing down onto the mat. Last breath. And engage your core, bring your legs up through center. And then lay them down to the other side. Unwinding your shoulder blades so that both are reaching down towards the mat. Two breaths left on this side. Engage your core, bring your legs back up through center. If you'd like to maybe take a happy baby, stretching out the hips, you can flex your feet, send your feet nice and wide like they're trying to stand up on the ceiling. And then you can reach for your feet, or you can also grab your knee pits and think about drawing your knees down towards your armpits and really stretching out into the hips here. Take 3 more breaths. And then if there's any final movements, you can take those now. Otherwise, you'll make your way into a Shavasana. So sitting your feet nice and long towards the corners of the mat. Unwinding your spine, releasing your hands out by your side, palms face up. Breathe here. Letting your breath slow down. I'm going to take nice soothing inhales and relaxing exhales. I like to think about taking a nice breath in, starting with my toes, inhaling all the way up to the crown of my head, and then exhaling all the way back down. If there's any areas of discomfort or tension in your body, you can readjust yourself and then relax back into your sweet, sweet Savasana. And you can enjoy as much time as you'd like here in what I think is one of the most important poses of our practice. Then I will sit up and thank you for joining me, and namaste.